Hi students, this is your instructor Megan, and in this video I'm going to show you how to get started on your sketches this week. So this week you will need to turn in 2 different ideas for your magazine design, and that means you need to express your ideas by sketching them. Now this week you'll sketch on graph paper. If you don't have graph paper, I've included a link to a website where you can print graph paper. It'll come out looking something like this. I think you can just barely see the lines on that. And you'll need to print 4 pages for each sketch. So 4 for one idea and 4 for another. And let me show you what it is that you're making. This is one idea. So as you learned in the magazine lecture, a magazine spread is 2 magazine pages that combine together. You open the magazine and you see this double pair of pages as one giant page. So you're going to make 2 spreads for one idea. So here's one idea. This is using the India art that's available. So the first thing you should do is look at the materials for your magazine project. For your magazine project, you're provided photos, you're provided text, and you need to create a design with those provided materials. So to get started on this, I went through the materials. Of course, I know what they are because I got them, but went through them and decided what would be a great way of presenting this. And so I have one spread here and then another spread here. So this is the same story. So this would be like page 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So I have 2 spreads and I've designed this out by sketching. So this is just one idea. You need 2 of these. You need to show 2 different ideas. So if this is your first one, I would expect to see a second one that's a lot different. Now it should be for the same project. So if you draw the Green India design for your first idea, the second should also be Green India. So stick with one topic, but create 2 ideas. So you'll end up with a total of 2 ideas, which means 4 spreads, so 1, 2, and then another idea with its own set of spreads. So that means you'll need to print a total of 8 pieces of graph paper, and then separate them into 2 piles. Put 4 on one side and 4 on the other. Do one idea and then sketch a whole different idea on the other. Now, the way to get started with this graph paper is first you need to figure out how many columns you want to use. For magazines, you usually use 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something in that range. I would suggest maybe staying away from 2, because if I just fold this piece of paper in half and have a column on the left and right, it's hard to get creative with that. So for this sketch that you're looking at, I've chosen 4 columns. So I've taken all 4 sheets of my first idea and I've folded the paper in half, and then I folded it again. And when I unfold it, now I have 4 columns, which you can see on this page. So I've divided the page up into 4 columns. I would do that for all 4 pages of one design, and then I would sketch it. And then for my second design, my whole second idea, I would choose a different number. So if you want 3 columns, you take this page and you sort of fold it like hot dog style from elementary school, like you would fold a letter. So you fold it like this, and when you unfold it, you'll have 3. If you want 2, just fold it in half. If you want 6, fold it more. So if you want 6, you'll fold it this. Actually, to do 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you'll fold it in half, and then you'll do it hot dog style after you fold it in half. You can experiment with this, but figure out how many columns you want. And then I just used a light colored crayon to draw those columns in permanently. So I took my crayon and I drew down these folds. So I'm just gonna draw down the folds really quick. There you go. So now I can see my 4 columns really easily. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I did that for a total of 4 pages for my first idea. And then using the photos and the text that are available to you, I started sketching. So I sketched 1 spread. I really liked the photo of grain. There's a photo where grain is kind of like lying on a white background. And so I turned that into a spread. So I used 2 pages of my 4-column grid system to design a spread. And then I used the last 2 pages to design the second spread. Next page is still in my printer. So then this would be the second spread. Now I would do that all over again with a completely different idea. So let me show you what my sketch looks like. I have it up here in digital form, as I just showed you. So you can see that I have 4 columns on every page, but I'm presenting this as spreads. So this is exactly what you want to do. Your design should look like this in the sense that it should be 2 pages with the same number of columns on both, and then that's your first spread. And then your second spread is again 2 pages with the same number of columns on both. And I'm using photos. So there's a photo of a woman walking away from a building with some grain that she's balancing on her head. So I've used that picture. There's a picture of an ox pulling a cart, so I've used that picture. And I've just sketched how I want this story to look. So you can see this is my text. I kept all the text at the bottom. I put a pull quote in, and you guys are required to put a sidebar. So there needs to be some interesting element on your page that is information based, like a fact box or a graphic or something like that. So I put a fact box, and then I just happen to put a graphic over here. You don't need to put a graphic. The challenge in sketching this example for you is I want to make sure I sketch something that you don't want to do, because if I sketch it, then you can't use it, because if you use it, that'd be copying me. So I use some things that you probably won't use, like the graph, but I wanted to show you what a magazine design sketch looks like, so you know how to make this. So this is one example. After I did my columns and I sketched my design, then I would start all over again with 4 more pages and come up with a different design. So this one is called Grain of Truth. Again, that doesn't really make sense for this article, but I wanted to choose something that you won't also want to use. For the second one, I could do something completely different. I would choose a different picture for the first spread. I would choose different wording. I would put the beginning of the article somewhere else. So the challenge this week is to set up 2 different ideas and draw them out. And then all I did was I scanned these, and then I went into InDesign and I placed the scanned pictures in InDesign. So you'll need to do the same. When you put these up on your discussion board, they need to be in this format where we can see, oh, this is the first spread, this is the second spread, and then post your next idea too after that. So let me know if you have any questions, but just to reiterate, the steps are: print the graph paper, print 8 pages, separate them into piles, 4 for one idea, 4 pages for the other, create column guides so that you can keep your design nice and even, just like I have in the example, and then sketch your spreads. So I took 2 of these and then I started sketching for the first spread, and then I took 2 of these and I started sketching for the second spread. That first idea will be done. Now move on to your second idea. Pick up your pile of 4 blank pieces of graph paper, fold them into the same number of columns consistently, and then start designing that. So that's what you're doing this week. And by Tuesday of next week, you need to leave some feedback for your classmates on their designs, letting them know which drawing that they did was the best and why, and what they could do to improve it. So that's how you get started this week. If you have any questions, please let me know. I would be happy to answer them. Happy sketching!